Simplifying ratios. Now we need to make sure that the same units are used. Let's look at some examples. We're asked to simplify fully 15 centimetres to 2 metres. We'll notice in the first instance we have centimetres, but then we have metres, so they're different units. We need to use the same units. So let's think about 15 centimetres. We'll leave it as such, but the 2 metres will change to centimetres. Now 2 metres, of course, is 200 centimetres. Now we can start cancelling down, breaking down the numbers. 15 to 200. What number would go into both? Well, 5 would. So we're going to divide by 5. Firstly, the 15. Divide that by 5, we get 3. And the 200 divided by 5 gives us 40. Now notice our answer there, 3 to 40. We don't include the centimetres or units in our answer. The second example, 2 hours to 20 minutes. So we need to simplify that. Okay, we have hours there and minutes. So again, the units are different. We need to use the same units. In this case, it's best to use minutes. So the 2 hours will change to 120 minutes. The 20 minutes remains the same. Now we have the same units. Let's break it down. 120 and 20. What number goes into both? Well, 20 will. 20 is the largest number that will divide into both. So 20 into 120 goes 6 times. And if we have 20, divide that by 20, we get 1. So a simple ratio there, 6 to 1. Now notice in terms of setting it out, it's pretty important that you try as best you can to keep the colons directly underneath each other. Alright, that was a deliberate step there to show how I'd like you to set your work out. Now, the simplified ratio should only have whole numbers. Let's look at examples in this case. We're asked to simplify fully, firstly, 2/5 to 3/4. Now we need whole numbers. At the moment we have fractions on both sides. So what we do now is we look at the denominators, 5 and 4, the bottom numbers. We need to think, what is a common denominator? What number do they both go into? Well, the number we have is 20, and what we're going to do is times by 20, both sides. So we have 2/5. If we times that by 20, we get 8. And 3/4 times by 20 is 15. So we have 8 to 15 there. The next example, 2.5 to 0.04. Well, again, we need whole numbers. At the moment we're dealing with decimals. Now we can see that 0.04 has 2 decimal places. So to make that a whole number, we'd need to move the point once, twice. So it becomes 4. Move the decimal point twice. So we must do the same there. Move it once, move it twice. There seems to be a gap there, a space. Put a 0 in its place. So that new number will become 250. Now let's consider this much easier. 250 to 4. Well, we can divide both sides by 2. So firstly the 250, divide that by 2, we get 125. Then the 4, if we divide that by 2, we get 2. Excellent. An alternative way though. And the alternative way, we're going to use the calculator. Let's have a look. 2/5 to 3/4. We can write the 2/5 on the calculator, and then we divide by 3/4. Now, if we do that, we get an answer 8 on 15, which of course can be written in ratio form as 8 to 15. And our answer there, of course, coincides with what we had previously. Example 2, similar deal. 2.5 divided by the next number, which is 0.04. We do that on the calculator, we get 62.5. Now that's certainly not in ratio form. If we press Shift ABC, that will change it to a fraction. Okay, it'll change it to what's called an improper fraction in this case, 125 over 2, which we know can be written in ratio form as 125 to 2.